come down, school fees will come down, house rent will come down.
Some workers are forced to sleep at their place of work during the week to keep transport costs down. Every morning, long lines of commuters form at bus stops before sunrise. Minibuses and keke napep motor tricycles fill the capacity. For some, the wait is almost as exhausting as the day ahead. Fuel price hikes have pushed daily transport costs to intolerable highs, forcing many to spend too much of their income just to move. Small business owners feel the squeeze. For traders bringing goods from out of the city, transport costs are rising faster than profits. The result? High prices for everyday essentials in the city markets.
The cost of transportation these days is on the high side. You understand? Yeah. Like we that used to come all the way from the main satellite towns, it's times 2 of what we were paying before. Yeah. You know, you can imagine you coming all the way from Suleja to this place, spending 5,000 naira to and flow daily. So how much are you earning?
Abuja's growth has outpaced its transport system. Authorities have promised improved road networks, bus terminals and new buses, but progress is slow and commuters say they've waited too long. On top of these threats of insecurity are ever present with thieves every day to snatch phones and valuables, and the notorious one-chance kidnappers make everybody scared and nervous. Affordable public bus services are few for a city of several millions. However, 2 new grand bus terminals were opened at the end of June 2025 at Mabushi and Kubo, but time will tell if these edifices will contribute to any gainful improvement in the city's transport infrastructure.
Some areas in Abuja now have train stations. And you know, the capacity that train will carry is more than the capacity buses are going to carry. So I would advise if there can be more train stations around Abuja, because the places that I can say there are train stations now, those Piakasa, airport road, Kubwa, I think in Day too. So I will advise if there can be train station in other places in Abuja, aside those places too.
There are plans for an Abuja Metro Lights railway train system, although currently only the first phase is operating as a link between Edu train terminal and Abuja Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport. If and when further phases are built, these may help relieve the stress of transportation in the capital, but no firm plans are forthcoming in the near future. For Abuja residents, the daily commute is more than a journey. It is a test of patience, endurance, and even existential survival.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava, go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV. Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it well down.
Leave it like that.
Greatness is not faceless. Greatness has a face. It has many faces. It has over 200 million faces. It has your face. It has my face. Greatness is beyond what we do. It's how we do it. It is the people we do it for. It is never settling, continuously tinkering with an idea till answers to age-old questions emerge. It is our wittiness. It is our speed, it's our energy, it's our heavy punches. It is making melodies from anything. It is in the endless poetry of Nigerian life. Joyful, frustrating, sad, exciting. It's a mix of colors, imitating the breathtaking tapestry of life. It's our defiance of fear and our almost defiant, nearly arrogant presence in the galleries of the distinguished. It is these everyday people creating timeless, priceless art, carving spectacle, crafting history. It is resilience woven into the fabric that we are made of and we wear. Etu, Ashoke, Akwete, Kura. Greatness, the Nigerian spirit. That thing about us that all recognize and still cannot find the right words to describe. Great is Nigerian. Greatness is when Toby Amusho does the 100 meters hurdles in 12.12 seconds and a stunned world held its breath. Greatness is the chicken scratch guitar chords that bewitched the world. A new beat, Afrobeat, from Fela and now to Burna Boy, to Wizkid and Davido. It is the earthy Afro pop of Asha. It's the compelling, beguiling Nigerian R&B of Tiwa and Teni, and the alternative sounds of Thames, Johnny Drill and Chike. Greatness is how our phenomenal artists are selling out arenas both home and abroad with tens of thousands of people showing up to experience the pulsations of this mysteriously sweet music. Greatness is Kunle Afolayan, Jadesola Oshiberu, Kemi Adetiba, Nazo Nuzo, hitting mind-boggling box office numbers, securing global film deals and rallying communities. Not so long ago, content was just television, and now digital content is the new oil, with our skit makers, content creators, thought leaders growing our digital economy. Greatness is Professors Kayode Oyewumi and Musa Yakubu, being listed among Elsevier BV's most productive scientists in the world. Greatness is Ethan Nwaneri at 15, becoming the world's youngest player in the English Premier League. Greatness is Abasi Eneobong, pioneering the inclusion of the African genome in research through 54 genes. And Aisha Tofa, building and nurturing a tech ecosystem through Startup Kano. Greatness is Amina Mohammed, championing the voice of global peace as we take a prominent place at the table. Greatness is Miracle Izuchukwu, becoming the youngest female commercial pilot in North America. Greatness is Faith Odunsi, calculating her way to become the global mathematics champion.
X by 0.00.
2.4 times 10 is by minus 5. Correct.
Greatness is the pantheon of Nigerian authors. Their stories, our stories, bringing the world into the magic, the pain, the triumphs of the Nigerian experience. Greatness is the unicorns, 6 companies created by Nigerians under 30 years old, now worth over $1 billion each. The stories, the people, Nigeria. Each of these stories of greatness across the globe has you in it, and it has me in it. And we can almost take them for granted. They are so Nigerian. Chimamanda talked about the danger of a single story, where negative stories are used to flatten an individual's experience and overlook the many other stories that formed them. We are our stories. We are not one story, and we must tell these stories to ourselves and to the world. Nigeria is not faceless. It's not an obscure concept or a dream hiding behind the waving of a green, white, green flag. Nigeria has a face. It has many faces. It has over 200 million faces. It has your face. It has my face. What is a dream without a dreamer? You are a hero in this great story. Your name hasn't been mentioned yet, but it will be. You haven't caught the headlines yet, but you will. Oh boy, you never blow yet, but you go soon blow. You know it. I know it. I know you won't stop trying. You won't stop trying. I know you won't ever give up. You know you won't ever give up. How do I know? I'm in Nigeria, and you are too. And we don't stop until we win.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. And I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories, ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation, every weekday at 7 p.m. only on Rapid TV.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. And I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories, ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation, every weekday at 7 p.m. only on Rapid TV.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Very good evening to you and welcome to Correro, a platform where we dissect Nigerians' political issue. My name is Godwin Sunday. Xenophobic attacks continue to raise a serious concern across Africa, particularly in South Africa, where foreign nationals, including Nigerians, Ghana, and few other African countries have repeatedly faced violence, harassment, and displacement over the years. Recent reports shows that Nigeria dropped to heightened diplomatic engagement after fresh anti-immigrant protests in part of South Africa. According to reports, at least 130 Nigerians recently requested repatriation over fears of escalating attacks, while several African countries also issued safety warnings to their citizens. Data from XenoWatch, a South African monitoring group, also recorded 59 incidents of xenophobic discrimination and nearly 3,000 displacements in 2024 alone, heightening how persistent the problem remains. Beyond the violence itself, these incidents continue to test Nigerians' foreign diplomacy, regional cooperation, and the protection of citizens abroad. How should Nigeria respond diplomatically, even in a situation of this magnitude? And what do these recurring tensions mean for Africans' unity and international relations? Tonight on Correro, we examine xenophobic attacks and its implication for Nigerians' foreign diplomacy. Joining me tonight on the show is Mahmoud Tunde Hassan, who is a conflict and sensitive media subject specialist and a fellow Institute of Conflict Resolution, Peace Building and Conciliation. And he will be helping us put all of these issues in perspective. Please stay with us as the conversation begins immediately after this break.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. And I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories, ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation, every weekday at 7 p.m. only on Rapid TV.
Come back. Well, the phenomenon of xenophobic attack, particularly in South Africa, has historically been one of the most volatile variables in Nigeria's foreign policy. While the two nations are often referred to as the two giants of Africa, these recurring cycles of also their relationship have shifted and from strategic partnership to cold peace, characterized by diplomatic frictions. While the two nations are often referred to as the giant of Africa, well, it is still very, very disturbing how we've been able to manage all of this. But then let's even put the issue in more perspective. As of May 2026, renewed tensions have once again brought these implications to the forefront of Nigeria's legislative and diplomatic discourse. Xenophobic attacks have transformed the Nigerian-South African relations into one of managed hostility. It has become standard diplomatic practice for Nigeria to summon the South African High Commissioner to express deep displeasure. In May 2026, Nigeria again summoned South Africa's envoy following reports of new killings, including citizens of Amaramiro, Emmanuel, and Ekpeyong Andrew. Well, there is a growing divide in Nigeria's leadership. While some like Senator Adams Oshomole have called for hitting back by revoking licenses of South African giants like the MTN, DSTV, the likes of ShopRite and others, including Senator President Godswill Akpabio, favors diplomatic engagement over economic warfare to protect mutual interests. Nigerian officials frequently cite Nigerians' historical sacrifice, financial and diplomatic, for South African liberation. Xenophobia is viewed not just as a crime, but as a lack of reciprocity and a betrayal of the Pan-African spirit. Many will say the attacks often mirror a deeper struggle for continental hegemony. When Nigerians are targeted, it undermines Nigerians' image as a protector of its citizens and weakens its moral authority to lead regional integrations. Well, Nigerians in diaspora Commission, the NIPCOM, often has to facilitate emergency evacuations. Now, this has created a humanitarian burden and discourages skilled Nigerian professionals from contributing to the South African economy. xenophobia is a direct threat to the African Continental Free Trade Area and the AU Agenda 2063. For many, diplomacy is forced to focus on crisis management rather than integration. If the two largest economies in Africa cannot guarantee the safety of each other's citizens, the goal of a borderless Africa remains a distant dream. Now, for Nigerians, xenophobia is no longer just a migrant issue. It is a litmus test for its foreign policy effectiveness. The shift from brotherhood to national integrity first suggests that Nigeria may eventually move towards more formal sanction if diplomatic reassurances from Pretoria continue to yield no permanent solution. How do you think Nigerians should balance its historical big brother role with the need to take a harder stance on protecting its citizens abroad? Well, we'll be looking at this issue right now. Recall, I told you that I'm being joined by the person of Dr. Hassan, who will be helping us put this issue in perspective. But first, Dr. Hassan, it's a delight to have you join me on Correro.
It's a pleasure.
Good evening.
Pleasure. Good evening.
Well, Dr. Hassan, I know you've been following the narrative so far, but then looking at the whole xenophobic attack, even upon various citizens of Africa, what do you make of this development as a continent?
I think it's very sad. It's very unfortunate. It's something that shouldn't be happening at this point where we're within the global trajectory. A lot of continents across the world are trying to manage the evolving dynamics within the global space. The world is shifting rapidly. You have a situation where the traditional unipolar arrangement is collapsing. Now you have a multipolar arrangement where nations are becoming more intentional, they're becoming more deliberate, they're becoming more strategic. Now for Africa and nations within Africa to begin to create micro situations that implode internally, it's quite unfortunate, and it's not something that should be happening now. But we must also look at one existential fact. Across the world, nations and societies are hegemonic. We can't run away from that. They're very territorial. Everybody wants to protect its space. And where it sees opportunities within that space shrinking, the tendency will be that the people that populate that, whatever society, will want to safeguard their interests, because we're all largely, naturally, organically, we're territorial in nature. We are hegemonic in nature. Everybody wants to protect his space. But when there's a limit to you protecting your space and endangering others, more so that you have a situation where there's a cross relation in the world today. No nation survives on its own. So when you want to protect and in the process you endanger others, then you create a very dangerous situation going forward. So the xenophobic scenario that we're witnessing, especially in South Africa, not limited to countries within the proximity of South Africa alone, but stretching far beyond the geographical space, coming to Nigeria, especially West Africa. We've seen situations where they've dealt with Nigerians, they've dealt with Ghanaians, they've dealt with Somalis, they've dealt with practically everybody. This is not right. It's unfortunate. It's not something that should be happening within the global system.
But then it has become like a recurring phenomenon.
It is.
And a common decimal factor. Because we saw this xenophobic attack happened sometime in 2008. Then 2015 we also saw the rise in figures. 2019 also we saw the number also skyrocketing. And right now we're seeing almost the same thing. But then if we want to begin to assess this in terms of accountability, do you think Nigeria's foreign policy has been is strong enough to even protect Nigerian citizens abroad?
Look, there are two issues here. You see, the occurrence and reoccurrence of this tragedy is not something that the Nigerian government triggered. I hope you know that. It is something that is within South Africa. We've seen it also happen in pockets of areas within Africa.
But then our foreign policies should be able to
I'm coming to that. That's why
please go ahead.
Yes,
sorry for interjecting.
It's a dual situation. First, we must accept that it was not something that was triggered by Nigeria or the Nigerian government. It's something that is innate or internally induced within South Africa. We've also seen it in Kenya, for instance, and a few other places within the continent. So, in terms of accountability, the first point of accountability will be from the South African government, where within its territory, it's been occurring. You talked about 2008,
2015, and 2019.
Yes, it dates far beyond.
It predates 1994.
1994, we had it in 2002, 2003. It's recurring. So, to what point has the South African government reined its citizens in to say that this is wrong? That's where accountability must start from. Then you cascade it to the nations that have been affected. Like I said, Ghana has been affected. We've had Somalis have been affected. I think Mozambicans have also been affected.
Botswana recently.
Botswana has even taken a very drastic step. It has cut off electricity supply to most provinces in South Africa. It has blocked its borders. So, yes, nations have a responsibility, they have a duty to protect their citizens and be accountable for the safety of their citizens outside their shores. That is where diplomacy plays its role. The Nigerian diplomatic action consistently has been hampered or hamstrung by its toga of a big brother. We've always wanted to play big brother across Africa, even when we've gotten shot in the foot time and time again. We've done it. We've tried to be a big brother to practically everybody, and then they look at us straight in the face and spit right in our faces. Our governments, there's nothing wrong with trying to be nice to people, but there's a limit to being nice. Nice and nastiness are two sides of the same coin. They have been nasty. Do we pay them back in also a reciprocal nasty coin, or do we continue to play nice when we're being our faces has been split into two? That's where the issue of accountability of the Nigerian government, the Nigerian approach to diplomacy must be held accountable. We are not protective enough. I think we must put that on the card. We are not protective enough of the welfare of our citizens abroad. We get over and over, a lot of them get scapegoated for almost everything. You make Nigerians look as if they are innately criminal. They are innately abusive of the courtesies and hospitalities of other people. But that is not true. Some of us have been abroad. We've seen how Nigerians, like every other African, are scapegoated for whatever problem that they have. In the case of South Africa, who is responsible for the level of groveling poverty in South Africa? Are Nigerians responsible for that? Who is responsible for the absence of jobs by South Africans? Are Nigerians responsible for that? Who is responsible for the beyond political rhetorics among South African politicians of using the presence of foreign nationals within their territory as an excuse for not being able to move their citizens off the poverty bracket? Who is responsible for that? The South African government, I think the point of accountability must start from that point. Yes, Nigeria cannot exonerate itself from protecting its citizens that live abroad. But where Nigerians are left to their own devices, that is where we begin to question.
All right, that's where we begin to even question all of this. But then let's even take a look at a video where, because right now on the lips of many Nigerians, it is Nigerians are calling for an eye for an eye right now. Yeah, and that is paying them back in their own coin. Of course, Senator Adams Oshiomhole made this remark even at the floor of the chambers of the Senate. Let's even take a listen, then we'll come back to the conversation.
So my view is that it is time to reciprocate. This Senate should adopt a position that MTN, a South African company that is cutting away millions of dollars from Nigeria every day, that Nigeria nationalize it and withdraw its license, so that Nigeria company can take over the MTN business and recruit more people. Those coming from South Africa will find good jobs working with the company that will replace MTN. And I know that South Africa president has interest in MTN. The second is that we ask the Minister of Communication of the federal government to revoke the DSTV, which is also a South Africa company that is cutting away millions of dollars, even abusing, resorting to practices that will not even be accepted in South Africa. I don't want this Senate to be shedding tears to sympathize with those who have died. We didn't come here to shed tears, and I'm not going to shed tears. If you hit me, I hit you. I think it is appropriate in diplomacy. It's an economic struggle. What the black South Africans are saying is that Nigerians are taking their jobs. Okay, Nigerians, come home. I take over the job of MTN. Nigerians, come home. I take over the job of DSTV. When we hit back, the president of South Africa will not only talk, he will go on his knees to recognize that Nigerians cannot be intimidated, and we do not condone any one life being lost. If a crime has been committed under South African law, they have a right to bring any sort of person to justice.
Well, interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Well, let's even look at that an eye for an eye, even proposition by the Senator Adams Oshiomhole. Is it a right step in the right direction? Should we be calling for an eye at this point?
You see, I can understand the distinguished senator's sentiments and emotions and concerns, as a matter of fact, because it's gone on for so long, and we seem not to be able to rein in and hold the South African government accountable, because this is a government-to-government thing. We cannot say holding the South African people accountable. This, we must hold the South African government accountable. I can understand his sentiments, but let's also face one fact. Through time, Nigeria has consistently been merely reactive when this happens. It happens, we complain, we issue statements, we are politically visible, we issue so much rhetorical statements, but we do not have strategic framework for engaging in a way that nips it and stops the reoccurrence. So calls like his for an eye for an eye. You remember an eye for an eye, the world ends up being what? Blind. Right. The whole of the world. It's not. That's not the solution. The solution, yes, you hit them. Corporate South Africa may not necessarily be the trigger for what is going on. So you hit South African concerns here. I mean, that doesn't make you even any better than those that are what the South Africans are doing. I can understand his sentiments.
So Nigeria at this point should not even begin to reconsider some bilateral agreements with countries, with South Africa, over these repeated attacks or linked attacks.
You see, we've had protocols, we've had diplomatic engagements that have just ended up as rhetorics. Yes, we must escalate, even if it's to the point of deterrence. We must escalate it to the point that South Africans know that Nigerians also have the capacity to be nasty. The South Africans have been nasty. There's no beating about the bush about this. It's absolutely wrong. It is not something that is civilized in the world of today that should be condoned. But that doesn't mean that we'll also do the same. We can engage South Africa in a way that is strategic, that has a deterrence effect. Yes, for instance, looking at corporate South Africa and its engagement within the Nigerian economy, it may cascade back home and have some effect for them to have their government take responsibility for what is going on. But it is the same government in South Africa, the people who populate the government in South Africa, that are also using it, because if you hear the rhetorics among South African politicians, they make it look like it's the foreigners that are in South Africa that are creating the problem for South Africans, which is not true. The regular South African, I won't be, it would be uncharitable to say that the South African is lazy. It would be uncharitable. But I can dare say that the South Africans are laid back and not eager to open up to opportunities within their space. So when others come in, see these opportunities, latch onto it and expand on the prospect of these opportunities, they take it as an offense and they think you are usurping the leverage which they have in their own within their own national space.
Well, Dr. Hassan, for many Nigerians right now, based on the number of violence, 796 violence so far recorded, 588 deaths so far, about 2,194 displaced persons, 1,118 physical assaults, and the numbers keep rising. This would not even talk about shops that have been looted. About 4,693 shops have been looted so far. Now, looking at all of those figures, it tends to be that the Nigerian government is turning a blind eye because of its economic interest as again protecting the citizens of Nigeria, because we've had the Ministry of Foreign Affairs come out to say, hey, no Nigerian died in South Africa, and all of this narrative being pushed out, but then videos keep circulating on social media that even depicts a very fundamental picture that Nigerians are losing their lives on a daily basis in South Africa. Ghana is taking the bull by the horn. Looking at all of this, as a country, are we placing economic interests above nationhood?
It will seem so. It will seem so. But let me say one thing. One death is bad enough. And those figures and statistics, the data you're reeling out, are not just data as numbers. They're human beings. They're human lives that are being put in jeopardy. Let's put that in perspective. One death is bad enough, but you're having death to almost 100 of them.
588 as a matter of contingency.
That is bad enough. Now, what you've seen play out so far is the tradition of Nigerian diplomacy wanting to be nice, which is totally outdated, outmodeled, and never in the interest of Nigeria. I do agree that we're slow in reacting, and when we do, we don't even sustain the reaction. We've not been taking preventive actions all this while. So when Nigerians call for an eye, you can understand that sentiment. But I do not think that we should descend to the level where the South Africans have been. I'm not sure any Nigerian, through the history, through the trajectory of the violence being meted out against Nigerians in South Africa, Nigerians have not taken that. So we're not as bad as they seem to be.
So we should fold our hands because of
we're not as bad as they seem to be.
The Nigerian government, perhaps it is why the Nigerian government is yet to even speak. You see, even on this issue.
You see, there has to be a link between the domestic sentiment with what government approach should be. I do not think that Nigeria, candidly, I do not think that Nigerians on their own should begin to do what South Africans are doing. But I think that Nigerian government must be more focused, must be more frontal, must be more deliberate, and must be more active in the actions that they take. For instance, I do agree that we can impose sanctions. A lot of countries have imposed sanctions through time. We can also impose, boycotts. We can engage in diplomatic boycotts. We can engage in economic sanctions. We can do all of that. We can also pull back on support for any South African interest within the global space. But for you to be able to do that, you must also be a strong global player. Is Nigeria strong enough to be able to take those kind of bold, decisive steps within the international space? So far, our diplomacy is not as strong as it used to be. We're not in reckoning in most of the global engagements. Even within within the continent, we're not as bold, assertive and authoritative as we used to be. We need to be able to reinvent all of that, because if you do not take care of yourself from within the domestic environment, strengthen yourself from within, you cannot play out strongly outside.
Or could it be that Nigeria is trying to protect its African continental free trade and the EU agenda.
No, I think that is
63. Could this be why Nigeria is this lenient?
No, I do think that's an argument that is overrated. Because even the African Continental Free Trade Agreement and the Agenda 2063 is lagging. It's lagging. We've not seen any beneficial effect on the continent. Why that has been is because a lot of them even think that Nigeria has an edge over most other countries when you do within the African Free Continental Trade Agreement Protocol, because we're larger, we have more population. In terms of infrastructure, we can dominate. So a lot of people have issues with that. So using that African Continental Free Trade as a barometer for measuring Nigeria's engagement, I think it's overrated, because as it is, we're not getting anything out of it. We're not. So it's actually overrated. I think it goes beyond that.
Well,
it goes beyond that.
Dr. Hassan, you're saying it goes beyond that, but then let's even bring the conversation back home and try to look at the statistics again by provinces in South Africa right now. If you look at what's happening in the Gauteng province, where we have Johannesburg, that's where we have one of the highest number of xenophobic attack in South Africa. If we take it to Western Cape, we're taking it down to KwaZulu, Natal, and the Eastern Cape, and also Limpopo, taking all of this route. Now, looking at it and breaking it down, and the broad conflict zones in South Africa right now, this still takes the lead, and this is where you find a lot of foreigners that are trying to invest their money. Now, taking this back home, Nigerians at home are curious. Are we, again, as a country, undermining Africans' and economic cooperation goals, including trade, including looking at the reality on ground? Are we prioritizing Africa above the whole Nigerian life that we're losing right now, in practical terms? Because looking at the economic implication right now, Nigerians are losing. Even in South Africa, we're losing quite a lot. There was a video that made the round even on social media where we had a Nigerian whose shop was looted. Part of the about 4,693 shops that have been looted. And he cried out that my shop is being, my properties I've worked for is being vandalized even in front of me. But then again, most African countries will say, just let's come back to the diplomatic table. Let's take one step at a time. Let's even come back to the drawing board, but then forgetting that this is becoming not just a recurring phenomenon, it's becoming like a tradition where every 7 years we get to see this whole tradition of xenophobic attack keep coming on and on. Should African countries prioritize cohesion as against even brotherliness and even citizenship and nationhood?
I think that you're giving too much credit to what we romanticize as the African continent. We're giving too much credit to it. Look at the AU. The AU doesn't have enforcement power. I mean, it's like a toothless bulldog. It's even worse than the United Nations. You also have a situation where it's very slow in reacting. So if you're going to say you want a continental arrangement or a continental solution to this, you'll be deceiving yourself. One, the AU doesn't have enforcement power. Two, you also have that even when protocols are agreed upon, domestication of those protocols are very slow. And then you also find a situation where the AU has a limited capacity for engagements. Now, so if you want to hinge your fate on a continental solution, that's going to be a very difficult thing, because most of the countries within the continent, I'm sorry to say, it's very sad, it's very disheartening for me to say this, but most of these countries still take orders from metropolitan powers outside the continent who do not want to see the countries within the continent unite and integrated.
So you're talking about...
I think that we need to micromanage.
You think at this point the external influence still controls a lot of this African leadership as it stands right now?
Yes. African leadership are still substantially controlled by metropolitan powers outside Africa. And these metropolitan powers will not want to see us a united Africa. Unfortunately, the leadership within the continent subject itself and subjugate itself to those metropolitan powers. So you find that, even take the issue of security. We've had situations where countries like India, countries like China, United States handle security for Africa. What's AFRICOM doing? It's controlled almost entirely by the United States. The AU Secretariat was refurbished by Indians. I mean, we need to get this things right. So if you want to hinge your fate and the need for integration and safety and security within a continental body, we'll be kidding ourselves. We need to micromanage this, and I'm serious about this. We need to micromanage each country. Like I said earlier, the whole world is becoming multipolar. Every country being deliberate, being intentional, being strategic in designing its interest, in safeguarding that interest, and in pursuing that interest. Nigeria must design what it wants for itself within the space. This big brother thing has come to be nonsense.
Well, Dr. Hassan, let's even look at the whole Nigerian in Diaspora Commission. Recently, this commission has been known to facilitate emergency evacuation.
That's all it can do.
Of Nigeria.
That's all it can do.
So this is where it has subjected itself to.
Yeah, that's what it's reduced itself to. That's what all it can do, given the posture, given the trajectory of the Nigerian foreign policy thing. I've just said that we've lost the might, we've lost the bite. So what you could just do is just do a mop-up operation. Nigerians, whoever is amongst them is left, move them out to safety. But what really should have happened is to have an arrangement that does not put them in danger line in the first place. The Nigerian Diaspora Commission, it's only been talking about evacuation, because that's all it can do. Let's be point blank about that. What else can it do?
But this also informs the Nigerian foreign policy.
What else can it do?
But then, looking at the reality of what it is right now, for a lot of persons, they'll say the number of Nigerians that are, even by statistics, in prisons across the world is very alarming. A lot of Nigerians that have been given some form of inhuman treatment across the world is even very worrisome. Right now, we're seeing what is playing out in South Africa, and one of the things that NITCOM is saying is they want to evacuate Nigerians. But looking at the whole NITCOM as it is, as a commission that represents the interests of Nigerians in diaspora, has it overstayed its welcome?
No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. We need, no matter what, even for nuisance value, but this is beyond that. We need an agency within, outside the...
But if the agency is not fulfilling its primary obligation, even the acts are brought...
So what option do we have?
Can we say at this point that NITCOM has overstayed its welcome?
That will create a vacuum?
Perhaps we should overhaul the entire NITCOM.
Maybe
we should change the name from NITCOM to something else that probably will be proactive in that stand. Don't you think so?
A change of name will just be a change of color. The thing is to look at the framework, to look at the structure, and to look at its how it fits strategically into the whole gamut of foreign policy. Foreign policy is not a fragmented structure. You must be able to connect the dot. Every action, every agency, every instrument, every protocol must tie to other protocols so that you have synergy in the entire foreign policy operation. You remember when we had the concentric circle, from the inner circle, the inner core of the circle, up to the peripheral circle, there was a connection. whatever was happening from the inner core, like when we said Africa was the centerpiece of Nigeria's foreign policy, anything and everything we did at that time tied to that focus, and the global south became the second circle, and then the rest of the world. Anything we did at that point followed that trajectory, followed that structure. But now we are operating in fragmental, it is almost impulsive. As things come, we react to it. There is no systematic, strategic, consistent operation. Okay, even if we put that at the changing climate within the global space, like I keep saying, it is now multipolar, where every nation is to itself and for itself, where every nation must design its policy, must be deliberate about it, must be intentional about it, and must be strategic about it. Let's say that is what is playing out now. Is Nigeria able to define its interests, protect its interests, and go for it no matter what? For you to be able to do that, you need a stable, strong, purposeful, and visionary leadership from within the domestic space. Do we have that?
Well, do we have that is a very big question right now. But then before we even dive into having that or we not having that, let's even look at the presidency, talking about the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One would have expected that as at May, probably an official statement from the presidency would have even come out, or perhaps the president would have been able to address South Africa directly. But the president has traveled to France and traveled to a few other African countries, and the president is still trying to lobby for investors to come into the country to see how he can chart a new course for Nigeria based on his campaign promises to Nigeria. I'm not holding brief for the president, but does it worry you as a person that the presidency have not spoken?
Yeah, it does. And every Nigerian should be worried that we should not take the lives and the livelihood and whatever jeopardizes the life and livelihood of Nigerians wherever they are in this world. We should not take it for granted. We should not take it as one of those things. Each life, a single life, matters. So when the presidency is a bit reticent and laid back in dealing with things that are of existential consequence to Nigerians wherever they are, it should worry every Nigerian. So yes, I am worried that that is happening. But we've seen that as part of the projection. That is what this government has projected or through time. We've not seen. Look at what has been happening to them in the Sahel. Look at what is happening to Nigerians in Libya, for instance. Look at what is happening to Nigerians in Singapore, for instance, in Thailand, for instance, in Italy, in this vast space of Europe. A lot of them are languishing in jail. Yes, you may say some of them, they've acted in manners that are not really complimentary. We do agree. But it doesn't mean that the Nigerian government should abandon them to their fate. So, yes, I am worried. I think the Nigerian presidency, should have been more forthcoming, should have been more engaging, and should have been more focused and focal, indeed more vehement in taking a stand that shows the South African government, because this is a government-to-government thing. We cannot deal with it people to people. If we deal with it people to people, it's going to snowball into something that we cannot manage. If Nigerians begin to take on South Africans in Nigeria the way South Africans are taking on Nigerians, it will snowball into something more disastrous. So it's a government-to-government thing. We need to see the presidency more focal, more focused, more strategic in its engagement, and more practical, beyond rhetorics, beyond silence. Speaks so much. When you keep silent in the face of danger, when you keep silent in the face of this is almost like annihilation of Nigerians in South Africa. We should not be quiet about it. I think the Nigerian presidency should be seen to be more forthcoming.
All right, so as we begin to wrap up, let's even based on the underreported some of the reported figures right now that we cannot even, is not even within, are available to the media. The figures may be higher of the number of deaths that is occurring in South Africa. For many, they say 57 people die on a daily basis. Per year, I beg your pardon.
I'm not bothered about that. Because one death is bad enough.
So I'm even looking at this. Nigerians watching you right now, even in South Africa. Nigerians that are experiencing this xenophobic attack in South Africa, most of them have fled their homes. Most of them are camping for safety. Is there light at the end of the tunnel for them? Should returning home be the last hope for them as it stands right now? Or should Nigeria adopt a better way to safeguard its nationals and strengthen international relations?
I think that's a very, this is a very dicey situation. Yes, Nigeria needs to safeguard Nigerians abroad, strengthen its diplomacy, strengthen its strategic engagement with those countries to have more safety, to have more security, to have more space to be yourself in wherever you are. But in terms of Nigerians returning home, then you ask, what took them out in the first place? They went, let me use a regular parlance, they went out for greener pasture. So for them to return, like all of us that have remained within the country, who are clamoring for better life, who are clamoring for a more sane, humane, and just society, where today we have multi-dimensional poverty in Nigeria, even growing bigger than it was. Previously, it was said to be 63%. It's gone beyond that. From the last figure that I heard, we're told that between 2023 and today, something between the region of 15 to 16 million additional people have been pushed into poverty bracket. The space for engagement in Nigeria is shrinking. So they come in and do what? So the critical thing is deal with what is making people leave the country in the first place. That's number one. Number two is to find frameworks that will guarantee government to government and that will hold those governments accountable for any breach of those frameworks for safety and security of Nigerians living in those places. They're not there because they want to break the law. They're not there because they want to take the jobs of the citizens of those countries. We welcome them. There's absolutely no reason why we should not also. It's a global space. And in this globalized environment, it's becoming even more and more borderless, to the point that even holding to nationalist thing is just political nostalgia, because you can be anywhere and do anything you want to do. So when Nigerians go to any other country, to the extent that they are law-abiding, they should be able to go about their legitimate, lawful engagement in those countries without fear to their lives and safety. So the Nigerian government must scale up its game to have critical engagement, especially with the South African thing. It's becoming troubling that it occurs over and over and over again, and the South African government seem to just gloss over it as if nothing is going on. Those people that are attacking Nigerians and other foreigners in South Africa, they do it in the open, in the public glare. Some are not hidden. So what has happened to any one of them? We've not had the report of any having been brought to book. They've killed, they've maimed, they've displaced, they've dislodged foreigners. Why should they still be free citizens in their own country? Why? If they want to make why are they even in other countries? They're also here. They're making money in Nigeria. I read figures about how the South African telecom company in this country is the bulk of the money it makes is what it uses to run its operations across Africa. I hope you know that. The telecom companies there. But I don't want to mention their names. The point is that they are making a living in Nigeria. Why should Nigerians also make a living in their countries? So it's not about evacuating them. It's about guaranteeing their safety. It's about having structure that is consistent, that is stable, that is focal about when there's a breach, you must account for that breach. And this is a government-to-government thing. It's not a people-to-people thing.
So what should Nigerians in diaspora do right now?
Nigerians in diaspora,
they should flee more.
Flee? You can't run. Where are they running to? Some of them I've even heard, I've seen videos. Quite a number of them are in hiding. Two, they don't have the means because their businesses have been rubbished. They are now in rubbles. They don't even have the means to move out. quite a number of them don't have a means to leave from where they are hiding to come into the open, to get to the airport or wherever, to come back to Nigeria or to any other place for safety. They don't have that. So what they should do for now, I think the Nigerian mission in South Africa should go beyond condemnation, should go beyond issuing public statement. Yes, I know that some of them may also be scampering for safety because they are Nigerians. Because we've even heard stories of where South Africans that are assumed to be Nigerians or other foreigners have also been victims of this xenophobic nonsense. We've had reports of that. So officials in Nigerian embassy may also not be that safe. But that doesn't mean that you should cow down to intimidation and bullying and this heinous act by the South African people. And I think that the South African government cannot exonerate itself from accountability in this case.
Well, it's a good way to leave the thoughts there even tonight, Dr. Tunde Mahmood Hassan. Thank you so much for finding out time to be with us here on Korero.
It's a pleasure.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go tonight, even on Korero. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comments on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Like I always say, always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye for now.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. I go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV. Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. I go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV. Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
I will change the narrative of the youth and the common man in the country by encouraging youth to become entrepreneurs and job creators instead of job seekers, because the truth and the fact is that there are no jobs out there for the youths. And I would like to increase the welfare of the common man and decrease the salary of the Senate, because the salary the Senates are taking home is enough to feed the common man in the country. So I will decrease the salaries of the senators and the House reps and increase the salary and welfare of the common man.
I'll just help to develop the agricultural sector. At least everybody will be independent. You'll be able to grow your stuff by yourself if the agricultural sector is developed. So you can make more money on your own, because we've neglected that. Even to feed is an issue. So if that place is developed, yet everybody can feed.
I work on our education, and when I talk about education, I'm not talking about just schooling. I mean, we're basically a nation and a continent that lacks the basic education, knowing specific things that needs to be known. And that's what affects us at large, you know. I mean, if we want to complain about all the challenges we face and all the problems we face that's coming from the place of leaders that are not held accountable. It's coming from a place of the people who cannot even hold them accountable and not having the knowledge to actually you understand, know the strength. So that's where we lack basically, and I think that's one thing I'll major on first before every other thing. Every other thing can come. Anyone can, you know, bring up strategies for me, but this particular one, yeah.
I think I'll face agriculture and see how food can be enough for everyone. Nigerians are hungry.
So like there are so many things running through my mind right now because of course there's like a lot of things wrong with Nigeria. But I think the first thing I would like to tackle is the issue of unemployment. So basically job creation is the first thing I would think of, because you know idleness, lack of employment is the reason most people do the kind of things they do in Nigeria. So I think that's one thing I'll prioritize and try to do once I get into office.
The first thing I will do is to make sure we have stable electricity, 100% electricity, because electricity is very, very important. Yeah.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. I go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV. Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umuahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapid FM. And on X, it is Rapid FM 965. Tune in to Rapid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, Caesar Radio.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nigecomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Nigeria.
Chinwe Achebe. In the world of African literature, one name echoes louder than most: Chinwe Achebe. Born in 1930 in Ogidi, Anambra State, Achebe grew up between two worlds: the rich traditions of Igbo culture and the rising tide of British colonialism. At just 28 years old, He penned a novel that would change African storytelling forever. Things Fall Apart. It told the story of Okonkwo, a proud Igbo man whose world is torn apart by colonial invasion. But really, it was a story about Africa told by an African. Before Achebe, African stories were often written by outsiders, but with elegant prose and unflinching truth, Achebe gave Africa its voice. He said, "Until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." Achebe didn't stop at fiction. He was a political critic, essayist, and professor. He rejected Nigeria's national honors in protest of injustice. His legacy, unshakable. Achebe didn't just write novels. He reclaimed a narrative. He reminded us that African stories belong to Africans first. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. Before feminism had a name in Nigeria, there was Fumilayo.
TV. This is Rapid TV. Rapid TV. Keep watching. Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
My name is Faith Dafa Joseph. Name is Martha Alu.
My name is Victor Arke.
My name is Divine Alex.
My name is Esther Omen.
My name is Arthur James Bruce. My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bitru.
I bet you already know that this is
Rapid Television.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nightcom Sat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Greatness is not faceless. Greatness has a face. It has many faces. It has over
Hello and welcome to Rapid TV News. I am Godwin Sunday. In the headlines, Tinubu submits APC presidential nomination forms. Senate passes bill on pre-election court jurisdiction. Oil prices fall amid Middle East peace hopes. Rubio